Boing, boing, yo. I hope I'm being heard. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Clobberin Times. After a year, you think I get used to saying that. Clobberin Times. Yeah, but, well, again, I never know if I'm being heard till someone says, hey, I'm hearing you. So one of you guys say, hey, I'm hearing you. Welcome, everyone, though. Let's see. I'll just pretend like I am being heard. Clobberin Times 120 on YouTube, but, of course, 820 issue number 820 overall. And so, anyway, it shows that I'm running. So we'll see. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, all right. Tonight, oh my goodness, joined by the one wonderful and magnificent, the beautiful Purple Valkyrie. I love you, Purple. It's so great to see you. And that was a marvelous show you did this morning on her wonderful channel. And if you have not subscribed to that, please do so. I'll put a link up and just as soon as I can grab it. It is, of course, Rise of the Valkyries. And this morning she did a wonderful show talking about, 80s cartoons, which is always a lovely topic, in my view. It is just, and again, it was a lot of fun, and she had a great crowd. She always gets a great crowd there, you know, and she has a wonderful channel. Please go support that. And yeah, was it? And of course, please support all of the great channels that you find links to in my description below. Yep. Yeah, there we go. And of course, also here is the great Phantom Outsider. What's up, bud? Always a pleasure, my friend. It's great to see you. Then the great Dr. Hercule Monkey is here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. Brightest day. Welcome. It's great to see you. And Snortapoopas Q Burr, I am working on that pronunciation, but I really appreciate you. And is a great new friend. And I'm so glad that you are here. Snortapoopas Q Burr. I'm getting there. I'm getting there with that pronunciation. Alex James, buddy. All right. Good to see you, my friend. Oh, Nicole the Blind Mage. Hi there. Welcome, Nicole the Blind Mage. It's good to see you. I hope some other pals will pop in. It's just doing Wednesday night is just the open anything goes stream. Sometimes I throw something big up. Sometimes not. This let's see here. A few show notes. Had a great time hanging out with Carlos Monday night. Talking about, myths that I guess will never really be thoroughly dispelled in anyone's mind, but at least we talked about it. And some of the myths of the differences between Marvel and DC comics and their characters. I hear a lot of people, even who've been around comics, that just kind of propagate some of those myths. But anyway, even tonight I heard on someone doing it on the show. But anyway, there's that Monday night, and of course had a fantastic time Saturday night with my wonderful first officer, the great Raquel Briggs. And this Saturday, can't wait. But before that, tomorrow, the Global Geek Gang will assemble, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I can't wait. It'll be, of course, as always, my partners in crime, Jed, Esh, and Retro. We form the nucleus, or the FF, the Fantastic Four of the Global Geek Gang. And hopefully joined by some great friends. I'm hoping my good old buddy... hope Lord Thoth will make it. I hope Eric will make it. Raymond and I hope maybe even Nicole will make it. And we might bring in Nick, of course, the great Nick Weiser. So I hope a bunch of friends will join us. And of course, others. Again, we may bring in some surprise guests. You never know. But tomorrow's just a general geek out. We're going to be doing some topics soon. Some of the topics we're going to be doing on the Global Geek Gang, of course. We're going to do a Legion of Superheroes one, a Blake 7 one. Going to be doing a lot of probably going to be doing a lot of Fantastic Four stuff this year. Never really need an excuse to do it, but this is, of course, for those who don't know, this is the 60th anniversary of the Fantastic Four. My beloved somewhat forgotten Fantastic Four. And I do love them. Love them very much. And we'll be talking about them quite a bit, no doubt. Speaking of anniversaries, this month is my 12th anniversary of doing this. And about a year, I can't believe it's been a year since I did my last Blog Talk Radio show, which was episode 700 after 11 years doing this show on Blog Talk Radio. And did that almost a year ago today, or this week, I think, where Flash and I and a couple other fans popped in, and we did kind of a fond farewell show, my big 700. Shortly thereafter, I can't remember exactly when, moving to YouTube. And here I am at 820 now, 120 for YouTube, with plenty planned to go. Like I said, the Global Geek Gang, 1 p.m. Central tomorrow. And then, as usual, the wonderful Raquel Briggs and I will be doing our Saturday night Star Trek episode reviews, 9 p.m. Central. And we're having a great time with that. But, we're into this. We're in the third season now. Sans Prevervis. That's right, folks. Steve Mitchum, what's up, bud? No problem, bro. Just good to see you pop up, bud. But yes, Raquel and I are just having a blast, an absolute blast, doing the show on Saturday nights, reviewing Star Trek. Even though we're going into the third season, this could be rough, but we're just gonna have to have fun with it, right? Hey, boy, oh boy, the episodes we have for you this week. Oh, man. JT Kirk, new friend of the show, who has been here for some of our Trek shows recently. JT Kirk, thank you for popping in. It's great to see you, my friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate seeing you. So, yeah, there's that. And again, like I said, I'm going to talk a good bit about the Fantastic Four this year. I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep reminding myself that we're going to do a Fantastic Four celebration. But a lot of other things too, of course. But 60 years of the FF, and I guarantee you this, we love it more than the idiots at Marvel do, and we're going to celebrate it way better than they ever could or would. No doubt in my mind on that. No doubt in my mind that we can celebrate the Fantastic Four better than they can. Eric K, what's up, buddy? Alex James already said hello to you, but hello again. Great to see you. Ironcaster, welcome, my friend. It's good to see you there. Got some friends popping in. Eris of Chaos popped in. Oh, I almost missed you there, Air. The lovely and magnificent friend of mine, Eris of Chaos. By the way, she also has a lovely channel. And there is a link in my description below. Please go to her channel and subscribe and check it out. She does live streams on Saturdays. I want to get back on. I want to do a stream with you. I want to do one that won't get my blood pressure destroyed like the ones you do for like Star Trek and the Dumbness and stuff. Although that was fun. I always watch when I can there, dear. But anyway, it's great to see you all. And like I said, no one will celebrate the Fantastic Four like we will at Clobberin times. That I can tell you. Just like no one will support, and support Star Trek like we do. Ironcaster, that's great, man. I love those Epic collections. They're amazing. I mean, I like omnibuses and I like Masterworks too. The Epic collections are a little more manageable. They're a little bit easier to handle. They're not like a big. Like, for example, I'm reading an omnibus right now. I don't know if any of you've ever tried to read an omnibus. They're fantastic. I love omnibus now. Omnibuy. But they're also, these things are weighty. And you can break your back to reading an omnibus. So you sit up at it. Chris Persia, like one of the other great wrenches. All right, man. Great to see you, buddy. So, and if any of you have any omnibuses, the Marvel ones or the DC ones, you'll know, especially the big ones from some of the older stuff, they are monsters. I love them. But they are monsters. And I have to put one on a desk and sit at a desk and read it. You hold it for like about. I mean, of course, you get a good workout. That's for sure. And I'm reading an omnibus right now, but the epic collections that you're talking about there, Ironcaster, are a little bit easier to manage. And speaking of that, and along those lines, of course, the Saturday night show with Star Trek, and then next Monday night on the Clobberin Times, Mark C. Comics Talk, named after our great, dear departed buddy, the great Mark C. It's a comic show every Monday night named after him, and therefore, I've decided to do. I'm always trying to come up with new comic book topics. We've got a lot of bad weather here, so if you guys lose me, you'll know why. I'm trying to. Whoa, man, we got some thunder. You probably all heard that. I don't know if you heard it. Anyway, so Monday night, I'm going to call that one. We're basically it'll be basically, as the kids call it, a chill stream where I recommend some great old comics sagas, and all of them will be, I'll make sure they're ones that they're available. You can grab in a trade paperback or a hardcover or an omnibus or what have you. I'm going to make some, just basically free flowing talk of, of comics worth reading, because new comics are garbage. Pat S., what's up, brother? Great to see you, my friend. I appreciate seeing you here. New comics are crap. Well, in my opinion. Ironcaster, interesting that you mentioned that. Topic idea, best rogues galleries. A couple of weeks back, the beautiful Purple Valkyrie and I did something along those lines. We talked about our favorite villains, and we did mention rogues galleries a lot. Now, we're by no means done, because we learned, I think at the end of that, I think Purple might agree with me, that there's so much more to cover with villains and everything. Oh, thanks, Eric. By the way, I appreciate that, man. There's so much more to cover. With villains and everything like that we barely scratched the surface. If you remember, I think at the time we got done of a couple of hours talking, I believe Purple, remember everyone was saying, well, you guys only talked about a few of them, because we just spent a lot of time with the biggies. We talked about some weird ones and some obscure ones, and we talked about some rogues galleries. But basically, we talked a lot about the great Doctor Doom, our favorite, and then we talked Joker. And yeah, oh look, part 2 is on. Purple, you just say when. Anytime you want to pop in here and hang with me, or if you want to schedule something or whatever on a comics night, on the comics night show, or the open geek Wednesday night show, we should do it. We're nowhere near done. There's so much to do there. But yes, just funny that you mentioned that, Ironcaster. Absolutely. But yes, Monday night's comics, so it's always going to be a comic topic. And yes, we talked about Purple's now new favorite villain, Terra Man. And I think none of you want to miss the upcoming 3-hour retrospective that Purple and I are planning on Paste Pot Pete. Nah, just kidding. You're up for that one, Purple? Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, don't we all love Terra Man? Hey, I mean, works for me. Like I say, when Purple's, anytime you want to do it, Perp, we will, on a Monday show that we got open there for Comics Talk, we'll do that. I can't wait, because there's so much more to do. So much more to do. So yeah, but I will be recommending some what I consider anyway. I can only recommend the ones I like, of course, or what are big. Some great comic book reads. I'll be doing that Monday night, and again, I doubt many of them will surprise you coming from me. But of course, I will also throw it out to our illustrious chat and let them name some stuff as well. some comics they love. So, and that will be fun. Yep, take that, Zemo. Yeah, speaking of Zemo, oh boy, good. I'm sure you're all, some of you at least are all watching that show. That I don't even know if I should name it. Should I even name it? Nah. That current show on Ditzy Plus, nah, what else? Nah, we're not reviewing that thing. Oh, hey, Chris, Purple. I hope Purple knows she has a standing invite to join the Global Geek Gang whenever she wants. So, the invite's there. I don't know. I'm sure I've mentioned it to Purple before. I hope I have, but hey, Purple, Global Geek Gang tomorrow or any other Thursday you want to jump in and join us, you are always welcome. Hey, Purple has a standing invite here anytime. Absolutely. And, if you want, we'd love to have you join the Global Geek Gang. I mean, I don't want to bug her about it because she streams so much. I don't like to bug her, but say, hey, please come on, because she's busy so much. And it's always late over there, except for on the Global Geek Gang time we do it. So, but we would love to have her on there. We're all us rowdy dudes. All my rowdy friends are here on Global Geek Gang. So, yeah. And also, my good buddies Jed and Ash and Retro on their Pop Culture Archivist channel, which there's a link in the description below. They will be doing a 100 stream celebration this Sunday, which I will hopefully be joining them for that. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Well, anyway. So Open Geekness is just that. I just kind of open it up and just this is something I used to do in the old days, in the BTR days, where I would just didn't have a topic planned. Sometimes Flash would join me, and just hang with me. And anytime somebody wants, anyone is available that wants to join is always welcome to pop in. And so, whoa. Oh, I sure hope the internet isn't going to. Man, I sure hope the internet isn't going to go wonky on me tonight. So far, so good, I guess. Yeah, well. So anyway, we'll just kind of fly by the seat of the pants here and just kind of, talk about anything that's going on or whatever. And tomorrow it'll be kind of an open Global Geek Gang, but we're going to do topics because it was just a wonderful idea that Raquel had for us to do that Green Lantern show. Well, I'm going to hope I say this name right because a new person has jumped in. Elagabalus. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, but welcome to you anyway. I did my best with it. Well, thanks, Chris. No, yeah, I'm it's not that. It's just that the weather's really bad and we're getting some lightning and some sometimes it goes out. Sometimes the internet screws up around here for that. So no, yeah, we're fine. Well, it's good to see you there. Elagabalus, did I say that right? Elagabalus, man, you guys, I think you guys make some of these names up just to mess with us. Which, by the way, is epic if you do. That's why, because I love it. And again, I'm sure it's a name that is a reference to something. Well, yeah, Pat, you live close to me, dude. So I know you guys are getting some weather as well. So, or not too far from me anyway. I got you. Elagabalus. I had it. Elagabalus. How about that? What about Elagabalus? Either way, I like it. I mean, we got so many cool names on here. It is taking me a while to get used to Snortopoopas QRB. See? Q Burr. I'm still screwing that one up. I'm old and senile, and my monitor's about 10 feet from my eyes because of my setup. So, yeah, there's that. And then, hey, well, what are you going to do? But it's still a cool name. And, of course, great names like Dr. Hercules and the Phantom Outsider. Cool stuff. JT Kirk, I think I have to go along with you on that one. Dixon Cider is one of the great ones. Yeah. Oh, dear. Just an old polar bear. I got you there, sir. I'm not a magician, Spock, just an old country doctor. Yeah. Well, so anyone who does come and hang with us Monday night, bring your suggestions with you. You may concur with the ones I make. You may not. I'm going to be just throwing them all over the place. As far as suggested, great comic book reading. Now, you can recommend some new crap if you want. I'm not, because all opinions are welcome. But I'm going to be talking about some old stuff. I can't think of all that much that was even put out in this century that I would recommend. By the way, I'm not saying none. Not saying none. There's some. But I'm a boomer, I guess, because I remember, a while back. Secret safe with me, okay. I remember a while back on our old format when Flash and I did our top movies a number of years ago. We counted down our top 25 favorite movies, for example. And I didn't really think much about it at the time. And then when we were doing our list, I realized that, oh, wow. Of all of my 25 films on this list, not one of them is from the 21st century. Not one. Does that mean I've not liked a film in the 21st century? Not saying that. No. Just saying that my top 25 of that list that I made back then, and I didn't even think about it, I just made the list. I wasn't looking at years that much, but I would write down the year next to it, but I wasn't keeping score in that regard. Then all of a sudden, I just looked at it just for the hell of it. And because he had, his list had some, I think, and we're fairly close to the same age. And my list was like, holy crap. I don't know, in my top 25 movies, and if I made it again right now, would it be different in some ways? I don't know. But I can't think of a movie in the 21st century that would breach my top 25. And we did our TV shows once. There may have been 2 from the 21st century. No brag, just fact. JT Kirk. I like those movies. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. We're talking about a top 25. When you have to make your top 25 list of something, like if you're a big movie fan in particular or whatever it is, that's a small number. I mean, if anything in your top 100 is a movie you really, really like to love, you might love it, in fact. So I do like those Lord of the Rings films for sure, but they didn't make my top 25, but I do like them. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. TV shows, like I said, I think there were a couple. JT. Yeah. No, well, look, Gary is like, I'm a big fan of Gary at New Erotic, by the way, and he's a great dude. I love Gary. He is a huge Lord of the Rings guy, no question about it. He loves the movies and the books, and that's his big thing there. So yeah, No, I know what you mean there, but look, it's not like I'm bad mouthing them. I like those films. Question: I have zero comic book knowledge. Did DC and Marvel do any crossovers, and were any of them any good? Such potential can't see happening on a silver screen. Yes, they did many crossovers. Elagabalus. Okay, I'm working on it, buddy. They did when they started out in 1976, their first superhero crossover, because they'd actually crossed over companies to do a book called Wizard of Oz, but it was different. In the Treasury edition called Superman versus Spider-Man, they did that. They did a second Superman versus Spider-Man. They did, believe it or not, they did Batman versus Hulk. Yes, good comic, by the way. They did X-Men Teen Titans. And then many years later, they started doing some other ones. There's been a Fantastic Four Superman crossover. There's been a Superman Hulk. There was JLA Avengers. There was Batman Spider-Man, on and on and on later in the 90s. So there have been many Marvel DC crossovers, including a series called Amalgam, where they actually hodgepodged versions of Marvel and DC Comics heroes together. Like they combined Superman and Captain America to be Super Patriot. Wolverine and Batman to be, was it Dark Claw or whatever it was, and so on, and with Green Lantern and Iron Man, Iron Lantern, and so forth. So yes, a lot of crossovers. Top 25 films based on comic books that a lot of people didn't realize, like Kingsman. There you go. 30 Days of Night. I've not seen either of those, Purple, but I do want to see Kingsman. I always meant to, but I haven't seen those. But that's in of itself a good topic there, Purple. Just top 25 comic book based films, or do you mean would you do it where little known comic book based films? Because there are a lot of films that, like Road to Perdition, that people don't realize is a comic book based film, or Ghost World, for example, or some other, or the old really disturbing Ralph Bakshi's Fritz the Cat, or whatever. In other words, there are a lot of films that were based on comics. So that is a good one. Darius Munchausen, welcome. Welcome. It's great to see you, my friend. Appreciate it. Appreciate seeing you there. Let's see here. If I missed anything. Chat goes fast. I like some of those Amalgam books, Chris. Yeah, I mean, my favorite one of those, I like Challengers of the Fantastic, which was a culminating two Kirby creations, Challengers of the Unknown and the Fantastic Four. I like that one. I liked Iron Lantern. Busiek did that one. I liked the other one that Dave Gibbons drew. I forget who wrote it at the moment. Was it Wade or somebody? The Super Patriot one, the cap. I like the Amalgam stuff, some of it. And, I don't know if I read the Dark Claw one. I can't remember if I bought that one. Pat S. I did watch that, a little bit of that. I hate Spawn, man. I understand a lot of people like that cartoon and the comic, of course, but I'm a Spawn hater, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm old, man. The great Mark D with a C is here. What's up, brother? Oh, dude, did you have a stream last night? Would you find a way to tell me when you're having a stream, buddy? I'd have been there, man. Damn you, sir. Damn you, sir. Well, that's a date there, Purple. If you want to do that, little known-based comic book films, I'm up for it. I like the idea. I haven't seen all of them probably, but I like the idea. Yeah, that's Elagabalus. That's Eric giving me static because I also owned a comic book shop back in the 80s, and because they teased Gary about it, now they tease me about it. But Eric knows I love him anyway, even though he's mean to me. He's going to be mean to me. Oh, no. Man, that weather's getting bad out there. Pod Racing Palpatine, welcome, my friend. It's great to see you, sir. Let's see. Let me catch up on my chat there. Hey, Pat S., dude, for you, I would watch it, buddy. I would watch it just for you, man. Oh. Wow, my phone's predictive text now recognizes at Mark D with a C. That's because Mark D with a C is a long time and great friend of the show, as you are, great Steve Mitchum. I love it. Nice. But Purple, that's a great idea, though. Help me remember. All I would ask is you help me remember because you know my garbage memory. So, yes, if you could help me remember that would be fantastic. So, yeah, dude. Well, anytime, just holler at me if you're doing one, buddy. Or definitely we'll get the word out there because everyone, please, by the way, go take a look at and please subscribe to Mark D with a C's new channel. He's a very good friend of the show. Look. Oh, see what you did, Eric. Now Chris Persia's busted my chops, man. Oh my! Everybody's picking on me. Wah. Yep, the little blue phaser. There you go, dude. Yeah, you got it, brother. Everyone, please, Mark D with a C, getting that channel started there. So, wow, you got me started thinking about those amalgam comics. I'm about to put that on the list of. I don't know if they will be on my recommendations list again. For those who are just joining us Monday night, I'm gonna do a recommend a bunch of good old comics to read. If you're someone who either wants to get into comics or hasn't read comics in a long time, because here's the thing: I don't care how long you've been in the comics. There's all kind of stuff that you may have passed by when you even if you were reading comics at the time, that you go back now, or something that you read a long time ago that you go back now and read. And, it feels, it feels new. If you have my garbage memory, it feels new. Good, Pedro. You get a comic shop, and you get a comic shop, and you get a comic shop. I like it. New video will cover phasers and tricorders. Oh, man. Dude. Coolness, buddy. Again, for those who don't know, last week on Jed and Ash's pop culture and Retro's pop culture archivist stream on Sunday, the great Mark D with a C regaled us and entertained us with some of his old Sears catalogs. Remember when the Sears catalog would come in and your mom wouldn't let you mess with it till she got through with it, but once she got done with it, you get to look at the toys and stuff? Yeah, good times. It was fun looking at that, man. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, look, I'm sorry to tell you, though, any young person here, when you get old, you like looking at the old stuff from the past, or you like living. I'm not saying living in the past, but reliving it a little bit and looking at the old stuff is sure a lot of fun. And that was great. That was really great. So, and Purple, like I say, it's coming up with new topics is always kind of, it's funny. I'll plan a topic and I'll do it, for like weeks. And then when I get it done, after I leave the topic, like, especially when it's the Monday nighter, see, tonight there's no topic. I'm just talking to you guys. But when you plan a topic and you really, really put a lot into it, or at least you really look forward to it, then you do it and it's passed by. I'm always going, oh, man, I was really looking forward to doing that. Now it's over. Crap. What do I do next? And I'll look up, go, oh, crap, I don't have anything scheduled for next. What am I going to do? I actually write down sometimes ideas for future shows because I do like having a topic. Look, I love the free-flowing thing right here, especially when Flash joins me or when Purple joins me or anyone joins me to hang out. And just, it's always great when it's two of us. Except when it's Carlos, because he won't let me talk. He just talks. I hope he's hearing this because he's a jackass. Just kidding. Carlos joined me Monday night, everyone. He's a good friend. But and the thing about Carlos is I save a lot of voice because he never stops talking. I don't get a word in, as you all probably could see Monday night. Which is you were all probably all thankful for it. It's better listening to him than my stupid voice. I know that much. Let's see here. The old pictures of Helen of Troy to remember the old days. Yeah, I am old, buddy. I guess I am. JT Kirk thought about covering the first 2 and 3 seasons of DS9, similar to the way you and Raquel are covering TOS. Cool, man. I'm rewatching the 100th for the 100th time. There are some gems out there. Gems people forget. Well, look, I love DS9. We're going to get to DS9. And for those who don't know, wondering what JT's talking about, Saturday nights, Raquel and I, we're reviewing all of real Star Trek. In other words, all legit, true blue Star Trek, 1966, 6 through 2005 only, and we're reviewing them in order. 4 episodes a night. We're getting into the 3rd season. Oh boy. Of Star Trek, the original series. Now that's where we are now. After that, we're going to do the animated series. We're going to do the films interspersed, of course, with the Next Generation, DS9, then Voyager, then Enterprise. And of course, we stop there because there's no more real Star Trek in our opinion for that. So, but I think that's a great idea. JT, hey, go for it. I'll watch it. I love DS9. We're going to get there soon enough. It's going to be a while before we get there, but if I can do anything to help, man, let me know. Did you sell music, vinyl, or CDs? No, I did not. As well as comics. There might be 2 music stores. Oh, let's see. There might be 2 comics music stores in Miami-Dade, Florida County. And that was 2020. How I missed those. Oh, yeah. I love going to stores like that. No, we didn't handle music there at that time. And the shops I ran before, I owned one in the late 80s, and I started one in the early 80s for someone. We carried just comics. And then in the first shop I ran in the early 80s, the Doctor Who craze had just hit. Huge with the Tom Baker episodes, and I just became a huge Doctor Who fan. And we carried a lot of Doctor Who merchandise, and we carried some Star Trek merchandise that we got from Lincoln Enterprises, which was owned by Gene Roddenberry. I even got the chance to talk to his wife, Majel Barrett, one time when she called us on the phone for an order. And I got to talk to Nurse Chapel and the computer and later Loxana Troy. So we handled comics mostly and Doctor Who's stuff, Doctor Who books and a lot of other stuff like that, and Doctor Who memorabilia. And then later when I opened my own shop, I mainly just stuck with comics and some memorabilia and things like that. And then later in other shops I've worked with, it's mostly comics. It was a common thing back then for some comic shops in the late 80s and into the 90s to carry both comics and baseball cards. I'm not a big baseball card guy. My sport of choice is pro football, and I just had to dump out of that this year because I got sick of all the way it was going. But I love pro football, but I never really collected the cards as much as when I was a kid. So I didn't want to carry baseball cards, so I just stayed with the geek stuff. But I do like a store that carries the records and stuff too. That's fantastic. Let's see here. Yeah, I love that Sears catalog. Let's see here. You should have Mark D with a C on some Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, look, sure, that would be a good idea. We had him on with we had Mark D with a C. Didn't we have you on with the Global Geek Gang the other day? You came on with Jed, right? Well, of course, Mark D with a C, you are welcome to come on with the Global Geek Gang tomorrow. I know it's in the middle of the day on a weekday, but just let me know, bud. You're in if you want to be in. We'll end up with a packed house, man. And we like that. You know something, Chris Persia, that's not a bad idea. I love the Orville very much. I can't wait for the 3rd season if we're ever going to get it before I die. I cannot wait for that. So that's not a bad idea. Also, in the not too distant future, after we get done with Trek, at some point, if I will be doing something, a couple of other review shows and stuff like that. Like I'll be, Babylon 5, which I just finished binging again, which I love, and some other stuff. That's right. The first shop I ran for a guy back in the early 80s was Southland Comics. That's where I first met the great Steve Mitchum right there. That's about almost 40 years ago, brother. There you go. Eric had to get that one in. You the man, Eric. I love you, brother. Let's see here. Let's see here. Clobberin Times, if you talk to the Oak Street comic book shop guy, oh, good Lord. Tell him, guy, he'll tell you that his top 3 sellers are old issues. Yeah, I haven't seen him. Is that if you're talking about DC over there? DC's a good dude. I like him. I've known him for a long time. I haven't seen him in a long time. If you're talking about Oak Street, yeah, that was wasn't it More Fun Comics? I think there's still More Fun Comics, aren't they? DC's a good dude. I like him, and I like Steve, who used to own it. Yeah, I've known him for a long time. I'm yeah, that's a lie. I never met Clobby. So you go to More Fun Comics then, Pat? Because we may have bumped into each other, man. You never know if you went there in the 90s. I don't know. Yeah, Steve sold it. He'd originally bought it from Poncetti or somebody like that, and then he sold it, and then I think DC owns it right now. A gentleman called DC, not DC Comics, and I haven't been there a long time, but I've corresponded a little bit with Steve, but it's been a good long time. Yeah, I bought comics for More Fun. Well, in that case, Pat, did you ever go to BSI Comics? Now we're just going down memory lane from New Orleans comic shops. Thank you, Steve Mitchum. Yes, we had Tribble fights. I had Tribbles. We ordered them, and I didn't sell a lot of them, but we threw Tribbles at each other quite a bit. We had Tribble wars. Yeah, Terrytown Comics. I remember it. That was in the West Bank, right? Wasn't that the West Bank? Am I getting that wrong? Actually, it was BSI, buddy. But yeah, Carl Tupper, the great Carl Tupper. BSI. I love Carl. Carl was a very dear friend of mine. I miss him every day. And yes, he owned the one he owned not only in Metairie, he also owned one in Mandeville and then Covington for a while. Pop Culture Archivist, what's up, buddy? Jed. I'd already announced earlier. I'll announce it again Sunday. Jed and the gang, congratulations on 100 subs. They'll be celebrating the 100 subs. Put the time in again, Jed. I can't remember it, but yeah. Yeah, on the West Bank. I used to go out there to that shop. There were a couple of shops out there on the West Bank, man. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I miss Carl. BSI. They still have a few shops in New Orleans, even a couple in Baton Rouge now. But they say comic shops are dropping like flies all over the place. And like has been said here earlier, comics, since new comics are just such garbage as far as the ones, being printed and put on comic racks in small numbers. I'm not talking about the self crowdfunding ones are different. But new comics, as far as comic shops are concerned, are just horrible. And it's back issues that are really selling now. Let's see here. I'll put a link to that. I will put that link up for you there. I don't know. Okay, there you go. So there's Jed's link. Jed and Ash and Retros on the pop culture activists. What time, dude? Just tell us what time if you haven't already. Channel's getting a makeover. Are you changing the name? Yeah, well, they're not even hyping variant covers so much anymore. They are that, yeah. I mean, but you know, they're also a bunch of woke garbage. No. Everyone, yeah. Well, let's see if anyone. I won't. Oh, I got you. Pop culture. I got you, Jed. Let's see. I bet someone in the chat. I won't say the name. I bet someone in the chat knows who John Davy is. Steve, I'm throwing it out there. Does anyone know who John Davy is? I won't tell. We'll see if anyone. But even if you don't, try not to Google it. I'll trust you. Honor system. Yeah, Lapalco. Yep. Yeah, I know you're talking. I know exactly who you're talking about, pet ass. Again, look, I had some friends with shops that carried baseball cards, but the two, baseball cards and comics. Okay, 11 a.m. I can't remember if you're Mountain or PST. So be more specific there, Jetty. Come on, listen to Restore, but my name's Jared. So, dude, I'm not exactly sure what your time. If you're just an hour behind me, but I think you are. If you're on Mountain Time, then that'll be, yeah. Well, just suss that out in the chat there, brother. Got to give that time zone, buddy. Yeah. So, anyway, no one knows who John Davy is. Yes, Phantom Outsider. Yeah, but they're doing a lot of variant covers. Some of them are. Was it I can't remember the name of the title. I just saw something about this the other day. Because variant covers are nothing new. But thanks, Clown. I'm not nostalgic. I appreciate today's tech advances, but I miss the early 1980s when faxes and beepers were high tech and DeLoreans were like four-wheeled unicorns. Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I'm unabashedly nostalgic, and I know my buddy Flash likes to say nostalgia is a bitch. Well, I do know that some of these folks are not too young to know who John Davy is, but that's all right. Eric. That's okay. No shame in it. Well, if you're on Gary's time, that means you're Pacific. That means 11 your time would be 1 o'clock my time, Jetty. If you're Pacific Standard Time, be clear about that when you you got to make sure you get that out there clearly, the time zone, because that is a big factor. But now they're doing a lot of variants. Now they're doing a lot of variants, and but I guess I'll just go ahead and say John Davy, of course, played Captain Marvel in the old Filmation live action Shazam show. I believe after he took over the role for Jackson Bostwick. He was the second. Am I right about that, Steve? He was the second Captain Marvel on Shazam, right? There you go, Phantom Outsider. Was he ever on the Love Boat? I don't know. I don't know if he did a lot of acting. He was on a Rockford Files episode, which I love that show. It was a great show. But, you know, on the variant cover thing, Phantom Outsider, yes. But I saw something recently that they had a ton of variant covers for some new book. And someone said there are more variant covers than orders. Remember back in 2000, was it 15 or 16 or whatever, when idiot Marvel, because Disney, unfortunately, got Star Wars, yuck. So they relaunched their Star Wars series after they got it back from, they got Star Wars from Dark Horse, and the Marvel Star Wars series started. And they did their number one, and they had like what, they have 100-something different covers? Is that number right, or is that too low? Were there more than 100? I don't know. There were a lot. And yes, variant covers have been around a while. Now, Dynamite's big on the damn variant covers. Look, I can get behind a few variant covers for a special book. Remember just recently, because I've pretty much gone cold turkey. I don't buy any comics anymore. I'm in a comic shop, and this is absolutely unheard of for me. I haven't walked into a comic shop, and it's got to be 4 or 5 months now, and that's just outrageous. Because even when I wasn't buying any regular crap, I would go just to hang out, to visit the friends who run it, and that kind of stuff, just for something to do. Even during Coof crap back in the summer, and I was buying some of those dollar comics that they were reprints of, like True Believers and the DC Dollar books. There were some reprints of some good old stuff, Silver and Bronze Age stuff. And I was even buying some of those facsimile. Was any of you getting those? Both Marvel and DC were doing these books because they were selling probably better in some ways than any of their modern shit, because they're reprints of good stuff. I bought a bunch of those facsimiles, and they're nice. This one just came out recently. I wish I'd have gotten, and I didn't go. There was a Black Knight one or something, and I didn't get that one. And I wanted it, but I was like, I didn't feel like going to the comic shop. I need to go get it if I can find it. But these facsimile books are nice, and so are the little True Believers. For $1, you get you get a reprint of a good old classic comic. The only new series I was buying over the past 2 years, as far as new stuff, I was buying Star Trek Year 5 for a while. After about 9 or 10 issues, I just kind of stopped. I bought the Dark Horse Orville comic that they've been doing. I've got those, which I don't think they've done an issue in a long time. But I don't want any. I guess it would be fun to be collecting comics again, but I don't really give a crap. They're $4 and $5. I think I bought a couple of those. I bought one of those Submariner recent throwback comics. A couple of the one by Alan Brennert and I forgot who did the art. They had one that was a couple of Golden Age throwback comics. I forget what that was called now. A good while back, I think I bought that one, and it wasn't much of a story, but I tried some of these Marvel snapshots or whatever, and I bought one or two. This is going to been like 4, 5, 6 months now, and then I just kind of stopped. Just kind of stopped, and but a little bit before that, I bought a couple of those anniversary books. Remember they had not too long, a year or two ago, they did a Detective 1000, and around the same time they did an Action 1000. They must have had 50 covers for those two, goddamn, and they were $10 books. In the Action 1000, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to buy any of the multiple covers. So I bought the Mike Allred 60s throwback cover. The Batman Year 1 issues? Are you talking about What do you mean, Pat? You talking about Batman Year One from the 80s? The Miller one? Mazzucchelli? I bought those back when they came out, and I have a hardcover and stuff. I don't blame you for that, Pat, at all. But they had like 20 different covers, and there were a couple of good ones, a couple of really nice ones for that Action. I mean, the Action 1000. But Jesus Christ, it's a $10 book. If you buy the variants on that sucker, I mean, there were at least 4 or 5 really good covers. Apollo meets Minion, good to see you. I mean, really nice covers, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, you get the same comic inside, which was really not all that great shakes, to be honest. There were 1 or 2 sort of okay stories in it. There were a few halfway decent stories in it. And the Detective 1000 was total crap. There wasn't anything good in that one that I remember. I tried to read it. There's like, eh. But it had a lot of nice covers. And I because a lady friend of mine loves Wonder Woman, I got her a copy of that Wonder Woman 700 or Wonder Woman 750, whatever it is. This is Wonder Woman's big anniversary this year, too. But this was last year. Like, they had a Wonder Woman 700 or whatever it was. And it had a ton of different covers. And they had a Green Lantern 80th anniversary special that was a steaming pile of garbage and shit. It was shit. I bought that thing like a dumbass. Only one cover, though. I only bought one cover. I mean, I guess they had multiples. I didn't buy the Flash one or the Robin. It was a Flash one. There was a Robin one. I just couldn't take it. But I was an idiot, and I bought the Green Lantern one. Alan Scott's 80th. And it was a piece of garbage. Thought they did year one. They might have done some, they may have done those reprints recently. Pat S. I love some of Miller stuff. I got you, JT Kirk. Cool. I love a lot of Miller stuff. I love his original run on Daredevil. I love even Born Again even more when he came back for 7 issues, which I love. My love of Miller kind of, it's weird. It kind of stops and starts with those, though, because he did other stuff. But, for example, I ordered pretty heavily way back when Ronin came out in like 1983 or whatever for the shop that I was running. And I ordered very heavily on that one because it was Miller going to DC. It was a slick formatted, expensive, big deal, big book, and it was Frank Miller. He was a huge, he just coming off his Daredevil run, his 4-issue Chris Claremont collaborated Wolverine miniseries, and he was the biggest thing in comics just about. And I did not like Ronin. Maybe some of you did. And I was like a lot of fanboys. I went nuts over The Dark Knight Returns when it first came out. I was young. I was 20, 21, something like that when it came out. And I wasn't in the business at the time. I was doing something else, but I'd moved to New Orleans, Pat, and I don't know if you remember Family Comics. I walk in there when Dark Knight first came out, Dark Knight Returns. And I couldn't wait. And the bitch wanted $20 for it first. It was the first day it came out. So, well, fuck that. I went down to BSI, got it from Carl for cover price, and he became one of my greatest friends ever since. That's how Carl and I got to be friends. It was Dark Knight Returns. No, I loved it at the time. Back then, I was really excited about Dark Knight Returns. And then issue 4 really aggravated me. I really don't like the way Miller handled Superman. I mean, that was the fact that was before there was a term for Elseworlds. But still, it was an alternate reality type deal, whatever. I just didn't. And then looking back, a lot of the writing doesn't hold up. And again, I also thought he really drastically, like some artists, like many artists, changed his art style big time. And it's not one of my favorite books, but back then I was really excited. I still have the complete Frank Miller Batman hardcover that has that. One of the story he drew before that for some Christmas special thing, and of course Batman Year One in it. Proudly, beautiful hardcover of that from the early. I guess it came out in the late '80s, early '90s. Apollo Means Minion, hello there. What's that? If I could do a Fantastic Four thing, I see if I can get one made for. Oh, you don't go to any trouble like that. But I mean, I would certainly be honored and appreciative. I mean, you know me, I love the Thing. He's my favorite character. That is very sweet of you, Apollo Means Minion. And I don't want you to go to any kind of trouble like that at all. But I would definitely thank you for your kindness and that. You're very sweet about that, and you are wonderful. Thank you so much. If you, I will accept it with great gratitude and open arms if you do. But if not, don't feel like you have to. That is a sweet offer, though. Thank you. You are awesome. Apollo Means Minion is always awesome. And hello to the puppy, by the way. She's got a cute doggy that runs around with her as well. But yeah, well, see, you've got some fans there, Palmy. You do some beautiful. I've seen it. She does amazing work, no question about it. Apollo, you do wonderful work, that's for sure. That's amazing stuff. I know you've done some stuff for Gary, right? I think you've done some work for Gary. But looking back, I have a lot of criticisms of Dark Knight Returns. Now, I still like it. I have a fond spot for it. But the sequel in the late 90s, The Dark Knight Triumphant or whatever it was, is one of the worst pieces of shit. And that reminds me that I'm going to do a show about the worst comics of all time. And I'm not going to go with low-hanging fruit like modern stuff. I'm going to talk about some of the very worst comics. I mean, because just as there are horrible movies, even when comics were, on the whole, not bad or decent or a lot of good stuff was coming out, Frank Miller's sequel to Dark Knight, and I know people talk about that later when he did just a few years back. I didn't even touch it. I can't stand Brian Azzarello anyway, and Miller had very little to do with that. He can't even form a coherent sentence anymore. So his sequel to Dark Knight. Oh, that's cool, Apollo Means Minion. Love it. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you did Doctor Who and you did Batman for Az. That's very cool. Frank Miller's sequel. I don't know if any of you read his horrific sequel, in my opinion, horrific sequel to Dark Knight Returns, but oh my God. Whew. It's bad, folks. First of all, I won't even go into it how horrible the stupid story is, because I've tried to block it from my mind. And like a dumbass, I bought the first couple of them. The art. You can say what you want about the art in the first one. I mean, it made sense. Wasn't too thrilled with the way he changed his style. A lot of people don't like it when Klaus Janson inked him on Daredevil. I like that. But he has a very, there was a time Miller had a pretty distinctive style. That's why I love that Dave Mazzucchelli did the art for Born Again. It's so much better than Miller could do. Yeah, so I'm totally with you there, Alex James. But for Ronin and then for Dark Knight Returns, he totally changed his style. Batman sometimes looks like a parade float. And I think he needed an inker. I know Lynn Varley does his colors, but I think he needed a way better inker. I didn't mind Jansen on some stuff, but Jesus Christ, and I don't think Jansen inked him on Dark Knight, did he? I can't remember now. Maybe he did. And he didn't have a lot of, not a lot of people inked Miller over his career. But be that as may, he changed his style. Not as bad as Keith Giffen or anything, but then when he did that sequel. So Alex James, you subjected yourself to that torture, huh? Yeah, I hate All-Star Batman and Robin. Holy shit. I really friggin' hate that. So, but the art in the second one, the sequel in Dark Knight Triumphant, was it, or something like that? I can't remember what they called the second one. The sequel that he got like $1 million for. That's right. He got a lot of money for that one from DC. Well, the first one made a lot of money. But Miller's sequel to the Jesus Christ, it looked to me like he got a big old and I'm no artist or anything, but he got a big old canvas, or he got the big blue pages up there, as they call them, the pages they would use to draw comic books on. Then he stood about 10 feet from it and he threw ink darts at it, blindfolded. Because he sure as hell didn't draw anything on it. I mean, that's some of the worst. Strikes again. Thank you. Yeah, Triumphant was one of the ones of the issues of the old one. Thank you, Phantom Outsider. The Dark Knight sucks again, it should be called. Anyway, it was, man. Thank you, Phantom Outsider. I know I can count on you. We got some knowledge in this chat. I mean, look, I don't have anywhere near as people. For example, when Gary stumbles over something, he'll get 1 million people put the answer up there, and that's pretty cool because he's like me, forget stuff sometimes. I'm way older than Gary, so I'm worse. But Gary knows a lot of shit, but like anybody else, he can forget stuff like we all do. It's on the fly, and he's got 1 million people putting it up there. I don't have 1/4,000th of his audience, but I got the knowledge here is just as big as that gigantic audience here Doomcock has. And I love Gary and Doomcock, but I'm telling you, the geek knowledge here is fantastic. I forget something and it's there. Boom. I bought it like an idiot, Phantom Outsider. I was an idiot. And oh God, it's got to be. And I've seen some shitty art. I'm talking again before about modern shit. Now they draw all kind of garbagey crap on computer. They're horrible. What was it, Pat S? What did you say there, buddy? Let's see here. Are you going to hit my Harvey Comics hot stuff? Was really no. I mean, I didn't buy any Harvey Comics at the time. I sold them. I didn't buy hot stuff, and I didn't buy Richie Rich, or Archie. I was just I was in the comics and superhero comics, and nothing against them. I bought the occasional Charlton Bullseye or something, I guess, but Captain Canuck used to hit the stands down here. But no, I did not. I didn't buy any of those, Casper, any of those. But hey, nothing against them, Pat S. Not knocking them, man. Did you buy the Marvel Star comics too? I'm just kidding, bro. I bet you bought Power Pack, didn't you? No shame in that, buddy. In the golden age, Harvey had superheroes too. They did. Well, yeah. Got spirit. And Archie did too. Archie had the Mighty Crusaders and such, and many others. Red Circle. When they came back as Red Circle. What I want to know is, did anyone here read Thunder Agents? Phantom Outsider, I know you know what I'm talking about. I love the Thunder Agents are one of the biggest tragedies in all of comics history. They were some of the greatest comics of the 60s. Wallace Wood, Gil Kane, Steve Ditko, all those greats. And then they weren't successful then, Tower Comics, because Marvel and DC were destroying them. And then after that, Thunder Agents are in the public domain. Today, if we wanted to, you and I could get together and make our own Thunder Agents comics. I once knew a guy that owned, or met a guy that owned them. He bought them for a while. Actually, was running around telling people that he had, but they're actually in the public domain. Last I checked. Oh yeah, Spider Cam and Gru the Wanderer. Well, yeah, Sergio Agones Gru the Wanderer is fantastic, man. I love that. That was great. Remember that episode of, remember the old TV show Bob? That Bob Newhart did, where he was a comic book artist? And they had an episode where a bunch of the Image guys are on there. I think Rob Leftfield was on there, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, and Sergio Aragonés. Bob Kane was on there. And, of course, the great King of Comics, Jack Kirby, was on there. Yes, true story. Bob was a fun show. It didn't last long. It was a lot of fun. Few comics I bought in the 70s at local gas stations, first editions, and thus collectible. Were they collectible? Let's see. I recall owning a Swamp Thing. Well, if there's some of the old Bernie Wrightson Swamp Things, but have no idea where all of them are. Well, let's see. That you bought in the 70s. In some cases, it really depends upon what they are. Elagabalus. I'm going to get that name right one day. Elagabalus. Sir? It's possible, but I'd have to know what they are. And like you said, you can't get your hands on them. I got you. But some of them, like if you recall owning a Swamp Thing issue, if you're talking about early 70s Swamp Thing, some of the early Bernie Wrightson issues, yes. After a little while, the later ones down the road, when they got brought back, Nestor Redondo, which I liked, started doing the series. Not as much, but the early Wrightson issues, sure. The only other really valuable Swamp Thing issues would be from the 80s and when the Alan Moore run started with 20 and then 21, the anatomy lesson, things like that. But so yeah, it just depends on what you have there or had. There you go. Power Pack, yes, by Louis Simonson. It was very popular. I have nothing against it. It was good that they did comics like that. Yeah. And I was kidding about the Star line. It's fine that the Marvel had their little Star comics. There was nothing wrong with that. You know, comics should be kid inclusive. That's part of the problem with them now. They're not anymore. When you retire, you retire in August. Oh, wow, man. I'm going to make some public domain t-shirts. Even if I don't make much, sounds cool to do. My nephews are good artists and graphic art. Well, that's cool, man. Well, there's one for you. I don't know if you ever read the Thunder Agents, but anybody Thunder Agents? Any Thunder Agents fans alive besides like me and three of my friends? Just wondering. Just curious. By the way, on Saturday Night Star Trek, if anybody's wondering which ones we're covering, oh boy. Let me get that off of there. oh dear. But yes, comics are not what they were. And we were talking about those variant covers. I got off on a tangent, but there was something to do with some current comic. And I just caught a piece of the story because I don't pay much attention to some of the stuff where someone said they had more variants than they had pre-orders. Not, they were probably, exaggerating or kidding, but it still drives home a point that nobody cares about new freaking comics anymore. Now, okay, look, not nobody. I mean, because this last time I did walk into a comic shop, or a couple times, whatever it was, back when I did, I do remember getting into a conversation with some young folks that were all excited. In fact, maybe like back last summer or something like that. I remember getting to a conversation with a couple of really nice young folks. And, well, one was a really cute girl, so of course I'm going to talk to her, right? I don't know, college age, whatever. But again, she was being, and I guess she saw I was wearing a Geek shirt and we were talking about comics, and the conversation swayed to some comics she was really excited about, and they were current comic books. And it was stuff of course, I tried to my best. I didn't know anything about what she was talking about because I'm anti-interested in new stuff. But I was being nice to her, and you know what? As much as the comics she's talking about didn't interest me, I was glad to see that she had some enthusiasm for a new comic book or for a comic book. Now, new ones, you know how I feel about those, but so there's some people liking some of that stuff. And not too long after that, or it was around not too far after that, again, there was a young guy younger than me, a little bit younger than me, I guess. Well, who isn't? Who I bumped into, and we talking, because when I go to a comic shop, I'm getting in, whether it's with the guy that owns it or whomever standing there buying comics, I'm always having conversations about comics. I start them up or they start them up with me. It's just the way it goes. That's what comic shops are for, really. Part of it, if you're a customer, especially. And guy was going on about all kind of stuff that was going on in current comic books. And I didn't have the heart to tell him I don't read any of this new shit. I just can't stand it. I mean, I can't even look at it in some cases. But he was all excited about it, so I listened, and it was as nice as I could be. And nice kid or nice guy, wasn't here down, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, whatever he was. So he was really excited, and and I'm going, you know what? Okay. I mean, I don't say I can stand any of this new stuff, but that's fine. And I'm glad he has some enthusiasm and is enjoying it. But I do have to wonder, is there, aside from these two incidents, these two individuals, and are these isolated incidents, I have to wonder, is that a prevalent thing with or a huge thing like it was once? I don't think so. Can I prove that? No. You could kind of prove it by, like Gary talks about, a lot of these shops are dying. So many of them are closing, and people are telling him and telling me and others that they sell mostly back issues. But someone is still following some of this new crap, is all I'm saying. That's fine. I mean, if they're into it, I mean, just because I'm not into it, I am. Even if none of it was destroyed or ruined by woke crap, which is the biggest problem with modern comics. Even if that were not the case, they chase. Look, the woke shit that has destroyed comics is unquestionably has. That's not what drove me away from buying comics on a regular basis for the most part. It is the case for a lot of people. So over the past few years. You look like channels like your boy Zach and Yellow Flash too, and that Umbrella Guy, the great channels that especially chronicle the SJW, and just some guy. They chronicle what's going on. Those are great channels. They chronicle what's going on with current comics. They review the stuff. They sit here and they're still reading the stuff, and they're telling you what's going on in terms of the SJW crap that they're infested with. And these are people that these guys are younger than me and all more open to reading good new comics than I am, because I look at what they consider to be new good comics, and even if they were not infested with identity politics, they're still just, to me, they look like eyesores. I can't stand the art for the most part. They're not doing anything for me, but still, they chased me away before that became the biggest deal. They were still existed in some cases, mind you, the SJW stuff, but it was the Screw 52. And before the Screw 52, DC was chasing them away with a lot of their events and crap they were doing. So, I mean, so some people are reading the new stuff. Maybe some of you are. It's fine. Except for Mark D with a C. If you're reading it, dude, I'm going to hurt you. No, I'm just kidding. I think he reads some new stuff. He knows I'm just teasing him. He's the man. But like my buddy Lord Thoth, smarter dude as there is, way smarter than all everybody. He reads current stuff, and he still has a folder. And I haven't had a folder in years. I haven't needed one in years and years and years. Even before the Screw 52 chased me away, I was, because the short window in there for 5-6 years or whatever it was, when I'd gone back to buying some DC, I'd kind of cut Marvel off. But when Jeff Johns fixed Green Lantern with him and Nathan Van Sciver, fixed Hal Jordan and righted that injustice done to them, with their rebirth, I went back and started buying DC Comics pretty hot and heavy for a good number of years. And before the Screw 52 came out, for a couple of years there, I've said this before probably, the events just started getting obnoxious. I liked Sinestro Corps War. I didn't even mind Infinite Crisis. Now, before that, I did not like Identity Crisis. I thought that was a piece of shit, but some people like it. It's just bridge too far. Brad Meltzer was nuts, but for that story. But DC should not. They should have made it Elseworld. It was anyway. It's crap for me. But anyway, some people liked it. But I liked a lot of the stuff for a while. There were a lot of good titles. What was going on with Green Lantern was good for a while. I liked the Sinestro Corps War. I thought it was pretty good. I liked some of Tomasi's stuff on Green Lantern Corps, on Nightwing. Paul Denny had a good run on Detective. I kind of like the Lightning Saga. Some of the stuff when they were bringing the JLA back. They were bringing back a similar, Paul Levitt's bringing back sort of an adult version of My Legion that had been gone since 1989, which I kind of was interested in and read a little bit of. I was buying other stuff too, just, Pat S. I was buying Invincible, and I was buying Walking Dead for a while. I stopped buying Walking Dead before the TV show even got made. I used to say, this would be a good TV show, but then I got sick of it. I stopped buying Invincible not too many years after that, like up into the issues of issues 70-something or whatever, somewhere up in there, but I liked it for a good long time. Oh, yeah. Look, yeah, some of the Straczynski Spider-Man stuff was terrible. Let me tell you, I love Babylon 5, okay? J. Michael Straczynski's a great writer. He could not write established superheroes to save his dick, as far as I'm concerned. His Spider-Man sucked, in my opinion, especially that Morlon crap, and then later with like you said, the One New Day and all that drivel. He can't write Superman. He can't write. He went and he did Brave and the Bold for a while. When they brought Brave and the Bold back, and they had some early issues that even before Wade went insane, he did. They were all right, and they had George Perez art and some of them. And then he took over. Friggin' Straczynski wrote an issue with the Flash. I'm like, and put him back in World War II, and with Sergeant Rock and those guys. And I'm like, I don't know. Barry Allen back in time with these guys. It's an interesting story. But then he did a really stupid issue with the Atom and the Joker, which I thought was really crap. Then he did. Let's see here. He did. Oh my God, great art. They did one that had My Legion, my throwback Bronze Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age looking Legion, and then it was and the second part was Legion of Substitute Heroes, and they look great. The art and the story was written like apparently by an imbecile who'd never read a Legion comic. I like JM. I love him for Babylon 5. Every time he got his hands on. Every time he got his hands on an established character that wasn't his, I couldn't stand it. Or most of them. Then he did a comic called The 12, which was, they were old timely characters brought back. So they weren't established in the sense in modern day. And I actually loved The 12. He did that thing with, was it his name? Chris Weston was the guy or whatever. He did 8 issues. Excuse me. And at first he did 8 issues. Again, it's a comic book called The 12, and I really liked it. And then it stopped in mid. It was like 4 more to go, and there was a special. And I really liked The 12. I don't know if any of you have ever read The 12. I thought it was great. These were old timely characters, yes, and he brought them into the Marvel future, yes. But they were stuck in this time. I forgot what it was, some kind of time freeze or some kind of crap similar to Cap. And they were brought back in modern, 2008 or whatever. Marvel America. It had a Watchmen type feel to it, but it wasn't over the top horrible and dark. It had darkness. I thought it was really good, and then it stopped at issue number 8, and we had to wait like 3 or 4 years for it to continue. And for me, when he finally continued it, it thought it ended well. And I think it was 12 issues and a special. It was called The 12. I liked it. I thought it was a really good comic. And it was Straczynski messing around with characters that no one really knew much about. They were from timely golden age, but they had not really been used all that much. And then later he goes on and he goes to do Superman and has him walk around the country and do it's just and he did like some kind of revamp on a Superman year one type thing, album thing or whatever. It's like I love him. I love Babylon 5. I like this book, The 12. A lot of people like Midnight Nation. I never got into it, read it, but people like it. But Straczynski needed to stay the hell away from established characters. I'm not sure what it was. Create your own characters, or at least use the ones from The 12 that no one knows anything about. Let's see here. Do Star Trek comics count at all? I read some as an adult, never reading comics as a kid, and I was really digging them. I've liked a lot of them. A number of months back, J.T. Kirk, a buddy of mine, we did a show about the history of Star Trek comic books, Star Trek in comics. Kind of a rough, just like a fairly, laissez-faire outline of the history of Star Trek comics. There have been many good ones and many not so good ones and all that kind of stuff. And, JT, there have been a hell of a lot of them. So we did the best we could to cover as much as we could. So I've liked a lot of Trek comics, and even some of the ones that weren't all that good were kind of fun to have. And, that's right. They were trapped by Yahtzees. There you go. I remember. I need to reread that one, actually, because it's been a while since I read The 12. And you can get it. I got a cheap hardcover of it at Ollie's or something a while back. Snortopoopas Cuber says, I remember reading some original series comic books as a kid, but they never did anything for me. I didn't know they did newer ones. Gold Key originally, they adapted the original. They didn't adapt it. I mean, they did comics based on the original series for a while, and then Marvel got their hands on it. Then they didn't after the motion picture. Then not too long after that, DC got it for a while and had it for a good while on and off, and a good long run with it. Then Marvel got it again. Then Marvel with again also, although. It's funny, for a while there in the 90s, Marvel had the parts of Trek and Malibu had Deep Space Nine. Of course, Marvel later bought Malibu, I believe. But anyway, so it went all over the place. Gold Key, Marvel, DC, Malibu, and finally, I think IDW now has it now, of course. And there've been some good ones. IDW did a lot of good ones. I rag on John Byrne sometimes. He's done a lot of great Star Trek for IDW. I've liked a lot of his Trek stuff. Peter David did some good Trek. Peter David was okay, Phantom Outsider says. But then he put way too much of his politics in books. Yeah, he does that a lot. Yeah. Peter David's written some great Trek novels. So I love The Rift by Peter David. What did he do? Did they do Vendetta, Q and Law, Q Squared, a few other ones? I get you. Sure, I can do that. I can show you a great image of the thing. I will do that in a sec here. Follow me, Minion. Let's see. What do I got? Yep. Hold on 1 second. I'll find one. So. Yeah, Trek comics. I mean, they're kind of fun. But again, there have been so many of them. But there's some good ones. Let's see here. Personally, one of my all-time favorite images of the ever-loving blue-eyed thing is This one by the King of Comics, the great Jack Kirby, inked by the great Joe Sinnott. This is from the splash page of Fantastic Four number 51, which coincidentally, I have my copy of that signed on this page by Jack Kirby himself. So, and I'm very happy about that. Don't know if that helps at all. I did like a good bit of Peter David's run on Hulk, Chris. After a while, I kind of got a little time. He did it for what, 10 years or something like that? I don't know. I like some of it, though. I thought some of it was pretty good. That's right. That's right. This is my favorite thing story ever. This man, this monster. Let's see here. I'm guessing the ones I saw were Gold Key. Yeah, they were back around the time the original series was on the air. Yes, Gold Key Comics, some of them started coming out before the show left the air. And a lot of the artists, some of the artists, fun fact, who worked on the interiors of some of those Gold Key Star Trek comics had never even seen the show yet. They were pretty drawing blind, pretty much. So, yeah, crazy stuff, huh? But yeah, he is the best. He's my old bashful Benji. Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew. Let's see, Pat. Az loves Star Trek comics. Does he? I didn't know that. I like Az a lot. I'm probably the only guy in our fandom that isn't in love with RMB. Don't hate him, just not in love. I'm a big fan of RMB, but that's, I mean, you don't, yeah, I wouldn't be in love with him anyway if I were you, because I think he's spoken for, man. I'm just messing with you. But, just kidding, dude. Oh, there's one with him fighting the Hulk. Sure. I didn't know what you were looking for. What do you think of that one? That might be kind of crazy one there. When I was doing my superhero battle show, I was. But I'm a big fan. Rob Burnett was. I mean, I was honored to have him on the show with me. With us a couple weeks ago in the Global Geek Gang. I'm a big fan of his. Now I'm with you there. Phantom Outsider, I did not like the way Peter David treated Jim Wilson at all. We'll just leave it at that. But no, I thought that was crap. But he did some good stuff. You know, I guess a lot of people like the Mr. Fix-It thing, and you know. But I did read it for a while. I thought it was there was some good ones. I like, you know, Dale Keown, I think, did that with him. I think was it you know, McFarlane had a run on there with him as well. I'm not a big McFarlane guy personally, but a lot of people like him. R&B and I wouldn't see eye to eye on KK and Lucasfilm, but yeah. But I like, oh yeah, look, I don't agree with him on some things, but I can't name you. And I hear you there. I can't RMB, and it's a great dude, I think, but I may not agree with him on everything. But if you could name me anybody on the planet that you agree with 100% all the time on anything, I'd like to hear about it, because I've yet to meet that person. I'm old, so I don't. And I know a lot of people that I agree with on a great deal of stuff, of course. But even still, even in that case, even in some cases, even some of the people that I know that I agree with like a gigantic percentage of the time, there's something here and there we don't agree on, you know. So, but he was gracious enough to come on this show, and so I think he's an absolute cool dude. And yeah, and I love Free Enterprise, which he did, and he knows his stuff, man. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, that was terrible what they did to Jim Wilson. I'm with you. Yeah, well, sort of Pubis, Q Burr, I'm right there with you. Like I say that a lot myself. I don't even agree with myself 100% of the time. Yeah, in fact, I'm starting to disagree with myself more and more. Yeah. So I don't trust me at all. So yeah, but what do you think of that one, Apollomies? Too big or what? Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, this was the thing I made for tonight's show. Yeah, that was the little ad I made for tonight's show. This was the one for Monday night. This coming Monday night, my friends, is Clobberin Times Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. Recommended reading. And we've been talking a lot about comics. Like it's an open geek tonight. We just do whatever the hell we want tonight. I want to open geek, and didn't have anybody join me, unfortunately, but that's fine. But I'm going to be recommending what I consider to be some great reads. I guess this spoilers some of it probably here. But some great comics. We've talked about some tonight for sure. Not too distant future. I think I will do one because when we were talking earlier about Miller's horrible sequel to Dark Knight Returns from the 90s, it got me thinking there's some really bad comics also. Hey, dude, I thought your birthday was tomorrow. Steve Mitchum, I thought I was going to send you a birthday thing tomorrow. Is that today? Tomorrow's your birthday, isn't it, brother? Happy birthday to Steve Mitchum, everyone, by the way. But I thought it was tomorrow. Isn't today the 14th? Oh, get up early. Yeah, I missed what you said there, brother. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Okay, it is tomorrow. Yeah, I got you. I didn't take a close enough look at what you said. I need to fix this setup where I can get this screen right. Well, Steve, brother, have a great birthday tomorrow, my friend. You take care, buddy. Pat S. Yes, R&B knows his Trek and then some. I would never tangle with him on a Trek contest. I'll tell you that much. He loves his favorite scene from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Well, my favorite scene is Kirk going around the Enterprise. I could watch that they say it goes on too long. I love Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and I don't apologize. Yes, and he doesn't like new filthy fake Trek, so we got to give him points for there. Phantom Outsider, my forum. Thank you, Apollomes. You're too kind. My forum will be open for anyone's suggestions in the chat when I do it next Monday. So, yes, indeed. Have some good IHOP there, bro. Let's see here. Take it easy, buddy. At Clobberin Times, we need to see if we can't, as a group, get Mark C's boy and aunt, mom, and a VIP tour of the WW2 Museum in New Orleans. I was just thinking, that's a great idea. I don't know if they've been to that. I'll check into it because we're thinking about doing some stuff for I don't know if he's listening now. We're thinking about trying to do some stuff like that. So, good one, man. I love that long look of the Big E. That long look, the Big E, a lovely lady all dressed up and looking pretty. What Big E there? Let's see. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Snortopoopas Q Burr. I'm not sure what you are referring to. sir. Let's see here. Marty was, yeah, dude, I love it. Yeah, it's great. I love that movie. I see what you're saying, Startup. I wasn't paying attention, buddy. I mean, I was, but my attention span is that of a 2-year-old these days. The older you get, this kind of happens to some people. But yeah, so yeah, this is what we're going to be doing Monday night. But of course, again, Saturday night with the wonderful Raquel Briggs. We are going to go where no show was going before. I don't know about all that, but I'm sure many shows have reviewed the third season episodes. I mean, we were having such fun. Well, I mean, we're gonna have a great time Saturday. Don't get me wrong. I'm joking around, but I mean, it's been such a freaking blast just talking about the first 2 seasons. And yeah, there were a clunker here and there, but first, it just reminds you of how great the first 2 seasons of Star Trek really are. Now, the third season, compared to filth like STD and P. Hard and the Jar Jar Abrams garbage movies, 09 through the history piece of shit movies and Lower Decks, are Shakespeare, as many would said. Spock's brain's way better than that crap. Nevertheless, we're going to have to review them on the level as compared to real Star Trek, not fake Star Trek. You can't give it the pass. Say, well, Lethal's better than the new shit. Well, so what? A lot of things are better than the new shit. It's kind of like saying, yeah, I got my hand cut off, but at least it's better than having my whole damn arm cut off. Yep. Okay. Yep. Sure. I guess. Okay. Fine. Or I got my arm chopped off, but at least didn't get my legs chopped off. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to grant you, I'd rather have one arm chopped off than both legs. Fair enough. But still, it sucks, right? So, yes, you can't cheat and say, well, I know Spock's brain is stupid and everything, but is it STD level stupid? No. Is this horribly disgusting and just absolutely repulsive like Star Trek P. Hard? No. But And the Children Shall Lead is pretty bad. Just throwing it out there. And the Children Shall Lead might be worse than Spock's brain. We're going to save some of this for the show Saturday night. Oh. I haven't been to the World War II Museum down in New Orleans in forever. I mean, good God. Since it first opened up, and what is that, in the aughts or something? So I need to go back down there. So yeah, this is going to be fun. Like I said, we're going to have fun with it because we love Star Trek. And I'm looking forward to getting to the animated series. You know what's going to be tougher than this, though? Because third season you can beat it up and stuff. Eric, you know what's going to be tough though? Next Generation is going to be tough. I can do it, by the way. And what I mean by that is I like Next Gen. A lot of people have said that it's, P. Hard ruined Star Trek The Next Generation for them. The Kirk and a ghost in the spacesuit, that's the Tholian web, Pat ass. I actually like the Tholian web. Oh, yeah. Because she's the bestest ever, as the great Doomcock says. But we'll see. fan speculation is that Saavik was Spock's love child. With the Romulan commander, probably. Yeah, I've heard that I've heard her it mentioned that, even Roddenberry, I think, wanted her to be a half Romulan or something like that. So, yeah. I don't know. But, and I'm not saying this is me, by the way, but Doomcock has said this, and some others have said that that P. Hard has sullied because of the horrible thing they've done to the character. It kind of sullies or it really damages the character of Jean-Luc Picard to them, and I can understand that. And it makes it tougher to watch, not only because of that, also some of the horrible shit that absolute monstrosity Marina Sirtis has said, and some of the other ones, and then the other ones participating in fake Trek, like what's his face, Jonathan Frakes has said some stupid shit. And they're all a bunch of assholes. But so far, and after I made the horrible mistake of sitting through Star Trek P. Hard, which is in some ways, it's more disgusting than STD. I had to bow out of STD after a big chunk of the first season. So I have not suffered through the second and third season like the big guys, have, like Doomcock and Gary and and that's part of their channel and stuff. If I were doing it as a chore to review and stuff like they do, I would, but it's not necessary. And I love them. I love them anyway, but I love them to death for taking that bullet for us. But I couldn't take it. But I did sit through all of P. Hard, season 1, which was a bad mistake, and it's a piece of dog shit. To me, it seems worse. It's worse because it takes, I don't even consider that Pecker Spork idiot or that Anson Mount that people think is so great. That's not Pike. That's not Spock. Well, nor is this Picard, but the point is, this is Patrick Stewart. This is not like William Shatner comes back to play Kirk and disgraces the character. This is not like if Leonard Nimoy were still with us or something and he came back. Although to me, it was pretty disgusting that he was in those Jar Jar movies. I love him. I love Leonard Nimoy with all my heart. I was not happy with him being in those Jar Jar movies. It really made me sick. But he still didn't ruin Spock for me because that's not Star Trek. It wasn't easy for me to deal with. And then when he passed all those years ago, now I'm sad as I can be. And I was even felt a little guilty for, having a problem with it, being a little I'm upset with him for being part of that stuff. I felt a little guilty for it, to be honest. Because Star Trek means that much to me. It just means the world to me. I mean, in terms of my geek loves and stuff. It's right up there with my love for comics. I just love it. I mean, yeah, I like Star Wars a lot. I love Doctor Who. I love Blake Seven. I love The Prisoner, and I love a lot of my comics like Fantastic Four, different things like that, and Superman and Batman, all those things I do. But in Star Trek's right at the top with all that stuff. How much I just closest to my heart as you can get in terms of a geek. So seeing it trampled and disgraced the way it was done, Discovery does, the way the horrible Jar Jar Abrams trash does, and how anyone can say anything good about that 2009 movie, I will never know. Even if I like you, I've heard even people I like kind of excuse it. I hate it. I hate everything bad reboot is filth to me. Everything. And but seeing those guys, somebody else playing with the character is not as bad as seeing Patrick Stewart go and defile his own character, not some other actor. Not some other dumbass actor cast as him. Maybe that would have been a little bit more palatable, and I would have said it's stupid, but okay. Yeah, the actors all are a bunch of disgusting worms. Sarnapupus, there's no question about that. They're a bunch of shitbags. A lot of them. And I hated seeing old Spock in those movies, but, again, also a little more forgivable because there were cameos in garbage. And it didn't trash the character of Spock that much. It's just he participated in something nasty to me. But and he did say some nasty things about fans on Saturday Night Live. But, that's neither here nor there. I still love Leonard Nimoy. But if Shatner had gone on STD or something, or did a Kirk show that debases and defiles the character of Kirk the way Patrick Stewart did, that would really make me sick. And I still love old Trek. So I've gone back after, since sitting through P Hard, I have gone back and watched some Next Generation, and there was a time I was not the biggest fan of Star Trek Next Generation when it first aired. I'm an original series guy. I watched it. I thought it was okay. And sometimes I was highly critical of it, and then kind of just I watched a little of Deep Space Nine, kind of tapped out. Watched a little of Voyager, kind of tapped out. I'm one of those weirdos that loves Enterprise. Loved it. Doomcock, forgive me, because I know he hates it. Doomcock's the best. He's cool. But I mean, I love Enterprise. I will defend it to the death. Raquel and I have done a show defending Enterprise. It warts and all. It has its faults like anything else. But years went by, and eventually, and a good number of years ago, I went back and revisited them all and watched them all again. And I love Deep Space Nine now. Really love it. And I like The Next Generation a whole hell of a lot better than I did back then. And I've watched a lot of them over and over again. I like bits and pieces of Voyager. It's not my favorite, And I've watched Enterprise a bunch of times. So I'm a big fan of the whole deal when it comes to Trek. If you really count, and if you count animated series, and I do, all 6 series. For better or worse, there's bad and good, right? So one of those, I can watch Next Gen now and be okay. And still appreciate a good one, and appreciate the great acting by Stewart in some cases, and some of the good stories. It's never going to be as good as the original series to me, but there's some great ones. But it will be interesting because it really anchored, and rightly so, not just Doomcock and a lot of people, but also my wonderful friend Raquel. She was very upset with what Patrick Stewart did and with what Marina Sirtis has done and all this stuff. So she, who watches all of Trek every year, all 600 whatever hours of all the way from the start to finish, I think last year, because she was angry, she didn't do it with Next Generation. But we're going to review it now, though. We're going to review it, and it will be interesting to get through. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I'll be okay. In other words, I will watch it and block P Hard out of my head. And if an episode's good, I'll say it's good. And if Patrick Stewart was great in it or what have you, which he was great in a lot of episodes, I will maintain that, love of the show. In other words, I'll be fair to it and separate the art from the artist, as they say. And I'll still love the character Picard way better than I used to. Like I said, there was a time I was not as big. But I'm still an original series originalist, but I've become fond of the other crews as well now. With the Voyager, I'm kind of like some of them. Hope Katie Carr, if you're listening to me, hope you forgive me. I do love you, and I know she's the greatest Voyager fan ever, and I hope she's doing well. But my point being is, I'm a original series guy who did finally, find it in my heart to love the other iterations, and we're going to review them all. And P Hard is tainted from some people, and I get it. I totally get it. Classic Doctor Who SFX don't hold up. Well, they never did, really. They were pretty cheap in the BBC, but those stories remain awesome. I love classic Doctor Who. It's another thing that's been destroyed, but I love Doctor Who. Let's see. I'm going backtracking a little bit. Best Pat S. Who was the best Trek Doctor of all? It was Bones, of course. Not even a question. I like Phlox. I like Bashir. I love the holographic Doctor in Voyager. He's the best character. Beverly Crusher's all right too. Yeah, Dr. Pulaski, but that's what. But Bones is king when it comes to the doctors, as in doctors on Star Trek, not the doctor, the doctor. I'm not Spock, and don't forget he wrote a follow-up book called I Guess I Am Spock. Where not I guess it's something. I think the book should have been entitled "What? That Much Money? Hell yeah, I'm Spock." Yeah, exactly. Look, Patrick Stewart's complicit in this crap. people who are just pissed off and can't watch the old have every right to be. I mean, to me, like I said, I can compartmentalize and still enjoy it. It'll be at the back of my mind a little, I guess. And then it was the times I've watched it after watching PR. But it doesn't, I'm going to be fair to the review and not let that taint the review of an episode. Mark D with the C. That's interesting. I did not know that. Voyager's, EMH and Voyager's second. Yeah, I really like the EMH. I don't like Voyager a lot. I like it okay, but I really think he's great. I love Phlox. I actually love Phlox, and I love Bashir. I think they're great characters. DS9, second best Trek ever. You know, I do like it a lot. I guess I probably won't disagree with that. I mean, for the longest time for me it was Enterprise, but I have to admit, DS9's better. And I love Enterprise, unabashedly. Enterprise was okay, even though it had flaws. Yeah, it did. What didn't? But it was real Trek and it had a hopeful future. It was, and there were a lot. It had great characters, and I like some of the aspects of the early season. You know, in which they were just finding their footing and didn't really know how. You know, Archer and crew. They were the first Warp 5 ship. Yes, there were contradictions to old canon, but that happened a lot. Before that, you know, Berman did mess around with canon a lot, even in movies before that and whatever. But, you know, if you kind of take that with a grain of salt, I still think you could enjoy the show. And I liked it from the get-go. A lot of people didn't even like the first 2 seasons of Enterprise, but I did. I loved them. And I thought it had their faults, but I liked some of those clunky episodes early where they're kind of just getting started. They don't have enough weapons. They're underpowered. They're completely newbies at this exploring game. They don't know what they're doing. I kind of like that they're the first ship out there. PR proves we all know in our hearts Kirk is there's no question about it. Kirk is king. Kirk's the greatest captain of them all. It's not even a competition. You can pick a favorite of any of the other ones, or a favorite's fine, but I mean, Kirk is the best. Who you want there when the galaxy's on the line out there? You want to make it sad, calling a conference number 1. They're a fool, or do you want Kirk? I want Kirk on the job all the time. Actors completely trashing their legacy. Yeah, you could probably think of a few. Voyager didn't work for me. I could have done without the temporal war. Oh, the temporal war and the Xindi stuff, but that was on Enterprise, yeah. But the final season episodes. Well, I like the first 2 seasons, actually. Now, the Xindi war lasted too long, and I have a lot of problems. It's interesting, in that 3rd season with the Xindi war arc, the standalone episodes that didn't deal directly with the Xindi war, they had some great ones. Then when it got bogged down into the Xindi war, there was interesting stuff, but I really thought it was not a good move to have that arc. You could argue that for the Dominion War, but it was handled much better on Deep Space Nine. But Trek really shouldn't be about war anyway, but that didn't make it bad. It's just not what I personally, doing a Trek show, wouldn't have chosen to have war story arcs, to be quite honest. Stories about war is different. The Taste of Armageddon or whatever. A Trek episode, Private Little War, even though it wasn't a great one or anything, but a Trek episode dealing with war in someone else's war, yes. A war of the Federation, that kind of stuff. Personally, I love Deep Space Nine. Multiple things can be true at the same time. I can say the Dominion War had a lot of great stuff in it, and yet I'm making the call. I probably don't do a Dominion War. But again, they did, and it was good. Xindi War, same deal. And if you're going to do it, Temporal Cold War, probably not a good idea either. Like the show, like I said, multiple things can be true at the same time. I can go, well, okay, I'm not so sure you should do that. But you did, and okay. I mean, what are you going to do? And I liked it. I liked parts of it. Again, John Billingsley's a total dickhead. I'll say it right now. He gets political and acts like an a-hole. His character, Phlox, is great. He said some nasty shit. He's a jackass. He's as nasty as Marina Spertus, probably. As partisan as she is, probably. Man, what are you going to do, though? I mean, separate the art from the artist, I guess, right? I think they did Federation War with DS9 about as good as they could. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Now, if you're bad reboot, they have to bow and wide. They have to blow their wad and go 10 more epic, and just And there's the thing about that. I wouldn't have chosen to have the Dominion War, but they did a good job with it. Like I said, it's nuanced. It's a lot, even the Borg stuff. So one of the things that seems to be the case with STD, for example, is they never do they ever do a story where it opens up, everything's normal, they go on some kind of mission, and they have one closed story about going to some planet and having some sort of story unfold like a normal Star Trek freaking episode, where they just explore and they just have an intricate story where they get involved with something. No, they're always dealing with some long-ass soap opera story arc, and it's always all of existence is threatened, but don't worry, folks, we got Michael Burnham. Have they ever just did a story? Well, again, Captain's log, stardate so-and-so. We've been ordered to this planet to go do this thing, and the story happens. I don't think so. They don't write it like Star Trek. I mean, forget how bad the writing is anyway, and how horrible the character, how shitty the show is in every single way. They don't even bother making the format like Star Trek. Phantom Outsider. I like those Kirk books. I mean, they got their silliness, but I like them. Star Trek: The Return. Yeah, bring back Kirk. Kirk defeats the Borg. Kirk hanging out with and showing up. I might add Picard. Yep, I like those. I like some of those. I like those Kirk books. I had them all. Question, let's see, Clobberin Times in chat. Original Star Trek movies evolved from the TOS series. Should a new Star Trek movie franchise expand upon a rebooted TV series post-STD? Is that viable in a woke decade? It probably isn't viable in a woke decade right now, but I'll tell you one thing about that anyway, and this is something I've always said. I love Star Trek the motion picture, so I'm weird. I love Wrath of Khan and Trek 3 and Trek 4. I even like Trek 5. A lot of people don't. I'm one of those weirdos that I have more issues with Trek 6. James Andrew Morrison, welcome. But I'll tell you this, even though those movies are fine, Star Trek belongs on television. Not the way the idiots at Bad Reboot do it, mind you, but on episodic television, having smaller stories where you don't have to save the goddamn universe in every episode. In a movie, you got to knock it out of the park in 2 hours plus or whatever, or under 2 hours. Star Trek stories, it just works better as episodic television for it. Was what it was made for. In the same way that you probably wouldn't have wanted Star Wars to be a week-to-week TV show, and it's better as movies. Too bad they didn't make more of them, real ones. Star Trek should be like when they almost brought Star Trek back as Phase 2. And then, Star Wars happened, and then, they scrapped it and they said, let's make a movie, Star Trek. I love Star Trek, the motion picture, but I would, even though it wasn't going to have Nimoy, and that's a shame, Lieutenant Zahn or whatever, Star Trek should have been a TV show. If you'd say, look, we'll erase the Star Trek movies and change history and go back and bring Star back. First of all, finish the last 2 seasons of the original series in its original run. And then 10 years later, maybe bring it back for another run on television. That's what I would have wanted. I would have wanted that. Star Trek is a freaking TV show. We took movies because that's all we were getting with the original crew. And we took it and we were happy. We loved them. It's better than nothing. Absolutely. Just as we were happy when a novel came out or the Trek comic came out or what have you back then. So I love the movies. I think it should be on television and not by idiots like Alex Klutzman. That's just me. Maybe, But in answer to your question or to follow up is, in today's woke times, I would not want to try it. I mean, if you took it out of Bad Reboot's hands, theoretically it could work. You ignore all the bad reboot trash. You set it maybe, I don't know, 15, 50, maybe just 10 years after Nemesis. I didn't like Star Trek Nemesis, don't get me wrong, but stay with that timeline anyway. And make a new crew. You could add a couple of people from a couple of the old shows here and there if it's only 10 years. Or, maybe 20 years, and they'll be just about right age-wise. You can have one or two people from one of the old shows if you want. And you don't have to set it at Deep Space Nine. How about, I got a revolutionary idea. How about make that show and make it about the Enterprise, and it's 20 years after Nemesis, because we're about 20 years after that anyway right now. You don't have to make it 100 years like they did with Next Generation in regards to or in relation to the original series. Just do that and make it that universe. And just ignore the piece of shit bad reboot trash. Ignore it. Exactly. Go with Enterprise F. Or G for that matter. You could say F blew up, whatever, and so people don't have to run around making the joke, Enterprise F you. I don't know. You probably do have to mess with the last episode of Voyager. Yeah, I kind of. You know what? I'd say screw it. And then you're right. The last episode of Voyager, I guess, is problematic. That's not a bad point there, JT. The tech from Admiral Janeway would make the Federation OP. Agreed. I didn't like that episode. They'd conquer everyone, and they'd have to send. They'd have to send in Picard on an apology tour. Oh shit, that's a good one. I guess casting alone would doom a new good episodic television series. Yeah. Never mind the producers and PR nightmares catering to division. But I hear you. Shit. Yep, and they would also they would contradict that. They could just act like, didn't she change history at the end of that one? No, it was called Endgame, like another dumb way to end something called Avengers Endgame. We won't go into that. But I don't know. You're right, though. They would have to screw around with it. Yeah, just ignore it, probably. Yeah, Phantom Outsider, I'd say that. Well, my good friends, I can't tell you how much it's been great visiting with you guys. I'm gonna call it a night here, just from my open geek, just hanging around, shooting the shit, doing nothing in particular. Some show notes again tomorrow. The Global Geek Gang shall assemble. And it will be, of course, hopefully, that'll be 1 p.m. Central. Jed and Ash and Retro. And I don't know who else is going to join us. I sure hope Lord Thoth joins us. I sure hope Nick joins and others. Hopefully, I don't know if Raymond's busy or not, but we'll see. Mark D with the C. If you feel like joining us, buddy, I'm going to know it's in the middle of the day. But you were invited. So what the hell? I was trying to find my picture of it, but I can't. Anyway, so yeah. Whoop. There's my Global Geek. There you go. So that is what we're doing tomorrow. Again, it is 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. As you can see, the Global Geek Gang. And yes, we have RMB on there as an honorary member. He joined us 1 week and we said he's going to be an honorary member. Obviously he will be invited, but I mean, if he can make it, fantastic. If not, we don't have a special topic or anything though. So, and then again, Saturday night, Star Trek with the wonderful Raquel Briggs and my wonderful first officer. 4 more episodes reviewed, 3rd season. Oh boy, batten down the hatches, my friends. Buckle up. The Paradise Syndrome, the Enterprise Incident, which I kind of liked. And the children shall Melvin Belli and Spock's ass. Brain. Whatever. And sorry. And then Monday night, everyone, recommended reading comics. Monday night, Clobberin Times Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk. Recommended reading. I'm going to talk about a bunch of comics that if you have not read them or if you hadn't gone back and read them recently, just throw about a bunch of great comics that I consider are great anyway. Some recommendations there, my friends. And so I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank everyone who was here tonight. Let's see if I can remember everyone. Of course, the great Steve Mitchum had to run, but Steve, appreciate you, bro. The great Phantom Outsider. Both magnificent wrenches were here, Eric K. and Chris Persia. Good to see you, my friends. Apollones Minion, thank you for being here. Pop Culture Archivist Jed, good to see you, bro. Yes, you were Howard the Duck. I thought you would like that. Snortopoopas Cuber, thank you. Alagabulus, I'm going to get that right one day, man. I promise I'm not butchering it on purpose, brother. I'm just dumb. JT Kirk, always a pleasure, my friend. Darius Munchausen, it was great to have you here. Alex James, my buddy. I'm trying to remember everyone that was here, of course. I think Mr. Morrison was here earlier. Did you see that, Mr. Morrison? Thank you for popping in, sir. Pat S., the great Pat S. was here. Brother, always a pleasure. The great Mark D. with a C was here as well. I know the great Dr. Hercule Monkey was here. Did I say you already, JT Kirk? Well, I'm saying it again because I like saying JT Kirk. So there. Think I got everybody. If I missed anyone, just remember I am old. Persia, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much, man. You are the man. So again, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Global Geek Gang. I want to thank everyone. And as always, not only thank all of you, but thank the great Stone Loki for this amazing outro. See y'all next time. Have a great night, my friends. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't believe it. Look, please forgive me. I know you're probably gone to sleep now anyway, but I love you, Purple Valkyrie. I'm sorry I forgot, dear. You know I'm an idiot. I love you. Good night, everyone. And love to the great Purple Valkyrie. Be the best.